Hello and welcome to the Chamber Connection Show. I'm Mary Hodson, President of the Hutchinson Chamber of Commerce and Tourism, and I'm so glad that you're joining us today because we have some great information for you regarding the project on Main Street. You might have seen Main Street 2020, you might have seen construction project on Highway 15, you might have lots of questions, and today we're going to answer a whole bunch of those. So I am pleased to introduce to you Gene East. Gene is the project manager from MnDOT, who's working on our project, so the Minnesota Department of Transportation, but we're going to say MnDOT because it's more fun and it's easier. So welcome, Gene. Thanks for being here.
Welcome. Well, thank you very much. Glad to be here.
So you and I have been working together for a while now, and you and I just have this whole project taken care of just by ourselves, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's what I hope for.
That's what I'm going for. I could be farther from the truth. So you're the project manager, you're the guy who corrals everybody together, but it's the state project, it's a city project, it's a community project. You've gotten input from lots of people. So let's just talk about a little bit about that process. Why is Highway 15, aka Main Street, being redone?
Main Street, from a MnDOT perspective, one of those partners, one of those moving pieces of the project, needs some pavement work. The pavement is pretty old, approaching 50 years old. So that's a big thing for us. At the same time, the city's utilities are also aging. So we have an underground, under the pavement, we have an issue down there. Those two big issues come together for a really large project, and that's where we will be in 2020.
So maybe if we can look at the whole picture of Hutchinson, that includes the detour, like that.
Yeah, that will be helpful. The whole project, because we're doing both pavement work and utility work, is really a major project, and we're going to take advantage of having to do that major work, and we're going to take care of a lot of things.
Yes.
So due to the complexity of the work, particularly downtown, that requires a detour for the project.
Yep.
And that detour you'll see on the map here, that is going to bring Highway 15 around the city of Hutchinson. We're going to use Highway 7 and 22 on the north part, and then use County Road 115. And
which we also know here in Hutchinson is Airport Road, so I want people to understand that as well.
And that part that goes down to the roundabout, that's actually in addition to, it's actually a second project from our perspective.
Right. So Gene, would it be fair to say that this orange portion, that pavement resurfacing, is that similar to what happened on Highway 7 last year to the east of Hutchinson?
It is. It's mostly the very top layer of the pavement.
Okay.
However, in that, so that it will have a limited impact to traffic, which is good news. It will be a shorter duration portion down there, much less impact than the downtown area. In addition to the resurfacing that's going to happen from Fifth Avenue down to the roundabout, we are going to make space to put a left turn lane northbound Highway 15 or Main Street to Linden, a northbound turn lane to Linden. Right.
But then you don't want that backup of traffic.
Right.
So we'll get a turn lane in where traffic can continue to flow.
Yeah, it should be a really nice addition. It should increase mobility and increase safety for folks who want to take that left turn.
I love that.
Yeah.
And always #1 concern when we're talking about roads is safety.
Absolutely.
Okay. I see a lot of numbers and a lot of color, right?
Yeah, this is a demonstration, I think, of our hope to really keep access to downtown and to the residences downtown, businesses.
Yep.
Keep that access there. Although the first thing we looked at was the detour, which brings many folks a lot of concern, and rightfully so. It will be a very, very busy construction season with Highway 15 going out of town. Right. We're doing some really good things, though, I believe, to maintain access and keeps businesses accessible. And that's what this demonstrates. We are going to do the work as best we can in a sequenced mode so that we don't close off any area for too long a time. We're going to go from one area to another. And that's what this demonstrates. We have sequence areas numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, we're going to move from north to south. So the river up here on my far right and Fifth Avenue on the far left. And we'll work through the project, and as we finish one, we will improve access to that one and then kind of move along. So it's again, access. Traffic will be closed to traffic officially, but access will still be there.
I love that we continue to work toward that as well. So downtown isn't closed. The road is closed. Downtown is accessible. You will be able to get where you need to go.
Yeah. We're working hard to do that. There's certainly going to be interruptions and overlaps of these sequences we're referring to here, but we're working to, and actually I want to note too that there's some, what doesn't come through necessarily in this picture is that we're from Hassan on Street on the south and Franklin on the north. We're going to allow crossing in 3 areas, Fifth Avenue, 2nd Avenue, and Washington. At any,
so these bold right here.
Right, those bold ones. At any given time, we're going to have 2 of those crossing points open at all times.
So 2 of the 3.
Always 2, sometimes 3.
Both the state and the city are really thinking about our business partners downtown and understanding that their business is their livelihood and they're helping support families, and so access is really important to be able to get inside.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we go?
Shall
we? Take number 1.
Sure.
Because you said we're going to go north to south.
Right.
But then we have this fun little one right here.
Yeah. Sequence area number 1 is really largely preparatory work. We're going to have to, as we replace the utilities, sewer and water systems, those have to be rerouted because they have to continue to function throughout. So that's preparatory work for the most part. And those will be finished up and temporarily paved when they're done. And we'll move on to segment 2. And then when 2 is largely done, we will move to 3. Segment 2 won't be paved quite yet, but we will finish the sidewalks on 2 before we start 3. There's more details. The details are plenty.
Yeah.
And they're on the website too. I want to make sure to remember the viewers that, to mention to the viewers that the website has a lot of good information. So, then between sequence pieces 2 and 3, we're going to repave 2 and 3 before we pick up 4.
Okay.
So again, hopefully get those folks in the areas 2 and 3 up to speed before we move on to 4.
So section 2, so number 1, where we're at over here by the bridge, that will be closed for a couple of weeks.
It will. Yep. It will, yes.
But then it's going to open back up. You're going to do that temporary on it so people can come back across the Main Street Bridge and then duck onto Franklin if they need to.
Right.
And so for those of you thinking, the parade. Yep, the parade will still, because that work will be done before we will need it for the parade. The parade will still come over the bridge, duck over the 2nd Avenue onto Franklin Street, and then all the way back down. So we're just skipping that piece of Main Street for a year.
Sure.
And it's okay. Because you know what? This, when it's done, is going to be wonderful. We're going to be so appreciative to have all of that infrastructure underneath the ground, you know, the unsexy stuff, the not sexy stuff, right? But you got to have good plumbing.
Right.
I mean, it matters. Yeah. It does. And then it will be so much nicer of a ride. I'm hoping for a couple of potholes to be shifted over just a titch so people don't hit them every day. Tink, 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 tink. You know, it's stuff like that. So last time this happened was 1967.
Correct.
So 51 years ago now. It'll be 52 by the time we get there to that point. So I'm just telling people it's okay. It's time. And for most of us, we won't have to deal with it again. One of the things I really want to emphasize, and we'll continue to do so as we're going through this education piece, is making sure that people understand that locally, your business is really needed. This isn't about loss of business usually from the tourism or from the drive-bys. It's usually a project like this is the loss of local support.
It's true.
And so we want to make sure that you're aware that we want to keep these businesses, and if we lose them, typically it's not because you can't just drive past. So I'm hoping that we'll continue to share the message to come on down and support your friends, your family, your neighbors who work at these businesses, and keep them open for the long haul, because that's what it'll be about. Plus, we want you to think local. I'm just putting a plug in for next month. All right, so what's it going to really look like when we dig a hole? Excuse me, when you dig a hole. So Matt, let's see if, I love it when that happens.
Yeah.
So here it is. This is a good image. It's not of Hutchinson, although people get surprised. I go, no, it's not. It's not.
It's not. I believe this is actually Faribault.
Okay.
So it's not very far away, and very similar sort of a setting. And this is a realistic expectation. We're gonna, starting at the bottom with our work, sanitary sewer and water, deeper holes. Some of those excavations are going to be in the neighborhood of 15 feet deep.
Wow.
That's a deep hole in the middle of your street.
So let's just put that in perspective. That's 3 Marys.
3 Marys deep, correct.
It is 3 Marys deep if you're going 15 feet down, because I am 5 foot. All right. So, and you can even see where you're talking about.
Right.
It's the deepest here in the middle. You can see that they're working on the installation of the sewer and sanitary and the water. We have the road barricades that we talked about.
Yeah, important piece. Safety first. We've talked about it in many aspects of the design and in the construction, and it's on the job site as well. Access to the construction site and the area in the construction area is going to be closed.
Yep.
We're going to do our best to maintain that access we talked about, but there certainly are going to be some barricades on some days. But as you can see here, we're going to, you can see we're also going to do our best to maintain access where we can and when we can to those front doors. So that will be part of the picture. So.
Okay, great.
Some temporary things you'll notice on the upper left there. There are times when that concrete sidewalk will be gone, but we're not ready with new. Well, there will be days perhaps with temporary structures and bridges and things to help get everyone where they need to go.
Yeah. So you can almost imagine that this would be Washington and Main, and this would be the chamber right across from Library Square. That's what I think why people almost think it's Hutchinson, right?
It looks very similar.
Where this is going to be where you'd have access on the sidewalks to the chamber, or in this case to Cook's and then Zella's, and here you would be able to get to Wendorf Insurance at this corner. Actually, this one you'd have to come around just because they're working on that side a little bit. So you're going to go into the side streets just a little bit, right?
Right. That, like the drawing or like the picture shows, we will indeed go onto the side streets a little bit, and actually at different times right up to the buildings. Because the buildings, in some cases, what we're seeing in this picture is that the sanitary and sewer or water, the main, if you will, goes down the center of the road. However, in this same process, there will be service lines out to each building and each residence along the lines. So there will be some work stretching out to those buildings in some ways too. So there will be some service line interruptions as well. So.
And you'll also notice that there are barricades here for safety purposes. So it's not just a sidewalk and you can kind of take a deep look, right? It's also about safety there as well.
It is. Yeah.
And we've talked a little bit about this, that there are going to be barricades at roads that aren't quite being worked on yet. But there's a good reason for that.
Right. In terms of the barricades for vehicle traffic, you're going to find them back a ways, maybe further from the construction site than you might expect.
If people have questions, they can go to your website, which we're going to show here. You can go to explorehutchinson.com, our website. We have a direct link to, and it says Main Street 2020 on it, and there's links and information there. A link directly to your website. And they can always call the chamber office at 587-5252. If you can't remember what that is, or you don't have access to a computer, give us a call and we'll connect you with Jean. If you have certain questions, or to the city, or whatever those are, we can help direct you. That's what we're here for. So